Hey dudes and dudettes, here with an awesome Path of Exile video for you. This is going to be the full build video for the new build that I've been previewing and showing you on the channel. And I've actually found a name for it. I'm going to call it Lagomorph. Because actually my family raises rabbits, Lagomorph, rabbits. It hops around a lot. So that's another thing. Bunny hops around. And then lag, because when it hops around it desyncs a lot. So you get the lag style stuff. And then morph, because it has so many options with the way you can go with passives and the way you can go with skills. You can literally interchange a lot of the stuff on the build to suit whatever you like to do. And you don't have to switch up your passives or anything. So I wanted to start out here in Act 1 to show you, as soon as you start the game, what to do. Now, when you first start out, you want to start a Marauder, because sadly your Duelist does not get Ground Slam as its level 1 reward. And unless someone will give you a Ground Slam, which you can get, they throw them away all the time and they'll give them to you. But if you really want to just get it, start a Marauder, beat Hillock, come over here to Tarkley, and he will give you a Ground Slam for your Hillock reward from your Marauder. And then you just put it in your stash. And then you start your Duelist, and when you get here, you just open the stash and grab your Ground Slam. As soon as you get your Ground Slam gem on your Duelist, you're going to want to buy a 2-hand staff or 2-hand weapon. I buy staff because you're going to be using staffs after level 13, the same staff for the rest of the game. So staffs just get you ready for whooping all kinds of monsters with a staff. By level 13 you will be able to afford a Pillar of the Cage God if you play your currency right. Now I wanted to explain this because Pillar is so important, but it's so cheap that you can get it by level 13. One of the ways that I do this is when you go out into the coast and you're killing enemies and everything like that, as you level to 13, magic and rares that drop, ID them. Don't save your ID scrolls. ID every rare you get with wisdom scrolls identify them, and then sell them to Nessa or Tarkley for alteration shards, and which make alteration orbs. And right now in the game, alteration orbs are actually pretty good sound currency. 15 to 16, well actually 14 to 16 now, will get you 1 chaos. The Pillar of the Cage God, I buy 4 slot ones that are linked all day long for alchemy orbs. From an alchemy orb to chaos, you can get these all day long, and there's a bunch on there that aren't 4 linked that literally sell for 5 alteration orbs. So you will be able to buy this by the time you roll around to 13, and then save all of your blacksmith whetstones to up your Pillar of the Cage God to 20% quality. It's going to up your damage considerably. And that's pretty much by level 13 you're going to be able to get your Pillar of the Cage God, and that's going to level you. That's your end game weapon. You're going to keep that. And if you buy a 4 slot, I used a 4 slot up until a day ago, up to level 76. Kid you not, it uses great and does great DPS. Now the other items you're going to be looking for, unique wise, are going to be higher level items except for your belt. The Meginord's Girdle actually cost around 425 chaos. I got mine for 4 chaos on po.trade. And you can take and get this quite, you'll have to save a little bit, but you can get it a little bit later. It doesn't need to be immediate on your belt. You just need immediately on your Pillar of the Cage God. So you have all the way up to this, your next unique cost, level cost is like 49. So you've got that many levels to save up for your boots and your Meginord's Girdle before you get there. So just save back your alteration orbs to get it. 4 to 5 chaos, it isn't expensive. Then for the rest of the time, you're going to be looking just for rares. Your rares for your gloves, your rings, and amulet are very similar. Especially for the rings and the gloves, you're going to be looking for very similar mods. Adds physical damage, increased attack speed, life, and resist. And you're going to be looking for those on your rings and your gloves. Now, on your amulet or gloves, you're going to need the 1% physical damage as mana, or you're going to be able to you're gonna have to, I should say, chug your mana flasks, because you know you're gonna go through mana pretty quick due to how fast you hit. And so either on your amulet or your gloves, grab a 1% mana leech, does fine. 2% is even better. And on your amulet, you're going to look for physical damage. Sadly, there's no attack speed on your amulet, so you're going to look for life and elemental resistance and anything else that, you know, would help your build, like strength or you know, stats or anything like that. For your uniques, once you hit 49 or so, you're going to get Alberon's Warpath Soldier's Boots. And once you hit into the 60s, you're going to be switching up to Daresso's Defiance and the Abyssus Ezomyte Burgonet. Now, your Alberon's boots cost around 1 chaos. Your Daresso's Defiance, I bought one 4-slot one for 1 chaos. And I bought another 4-slot for 2 chaos. And they sell for that all day, 1 to 2 chaos. The Abyssus is actually 4 to 5 chaos, just like your Meginord's Girdle belt. And I got mine for 4, but you can get them all day for 5. So you can see all together your uniques don't cost that much, and these I all got for 1 chaos, and then I, you know, used the Forsaken Masters to mod the extra. You know, you can see below the white mod there. You can see those. I did that with the Forsaken Masters. So overall, 1, 2, 3, 4 chaos at most for the pillars. 5 chaos. These are, you know, 6 chaos and 7, 8 chaos there. And these two, even if you say there were 5 each, that's only 18 chaos for all the gear you're gonna need. And trust me, it works extremely well, all this gear. Now let me explain why we're going with what gear we're going. Pillar of the Cage God is the linchpin to the entire build because of the mods it has. 1% increased area of effect radius per 20 intelligence, 1% increased attack speed per 10 dexterity, 16% increased physical weapon damage per 10 strength. So you can see that you can go long paths on the passive tree, taking nodes that normal people would you know, not get as much benefit from, and you get to actually take them and get a huge benefit from them, especially strength nodes with the 16% increased weapon damage. As for your gloves and your rings and stuff, the add physical damage boosts your Pillar of the Cage God tremendously due to the 16% increased physical damage, and how much, you know, that's going to be adding when you get up to 500 some strength. You can see it's going to stack, you know, tons and tons of damage just for a measly 1 extra added physical damage. The increased attack speed, of course, just adds more, you know, faster attacks. More attacks means more damage. The resist and life nodes are going to make you more tanky and make you be able to survive the elemental damage and the big hits that you might take. With the mana leech, the reason you get it is because you're going to be attacking real fast with your leap slams, or your ground slams if you use that, or your heavy strikes. And this leeches back enough mana to keep you going without having to chug your flask all the time. Same way goes with the rings, the added damage, added life, and staying just the same as the gloves. The Meginord's Girdle, the reason you're going with it is it adds a lot of strength, and you saw each 10 strength, 16% damage, which that's massive right here. Plus it gives the added physical damage, which you already know is huge for Pillar. And then 10% increased max life, great. Cold resist, great. And the flask life recovery is great. It's just you can't beat it. It's the belt you're going to be using for the rest of this character. Daresso's Defiance is actually used because for quite a few reasons actually. It's not only is it massive armor and evasion, which we take a passive that gives all the evasion turned to armor, you know. So you're gonna get a considerable amount of armor from this, but it adds life, leeched life, which is great for this build. Dodge attacks is just a bonus, but here's the fun part. When you're leaping around a lot, you get 1 endurance charge per kill. So you're almost always going to have up 3 endurance charges because you kill massive hordes really quickly. You kill everything really quick. You know, you kill things real quickly, and you're always bouncing around real quickly and killing things and going into the thick of it. Now, since you're going into the thick of all these groups, this gain onslaught for 1 second per endurance charge when hit triggers, and Onslaught gives you 20% increased attack speed, 20% increased movement speed, and 20% increased cast speed. Now, while you're not going to be using the cast speed, your movement speed becomes literally crazy fast. You're already crazy fast with the normal stuff here, but I'm talking Onslaught makes you like blinding speed, like the Flash over here. You're going to be bouncing around so fast you can't tell where you're going. So that's why I use this armor, but also there's a synergy. A lot of people use this, the Enduring Cry, Immortal Call, and Cast When Damage Taken combo. Now, it will cast Enduring Cry and Immortal Call when you take a certain amount of damage. And Immortal Call here gives additional immortality per endurance charge. The lucky part being is that Daresso's gives you an endurance charge on kill. So you're going to be bouncing, leaping into these groups and stuff, but you're almost always going to have 3 endurance charges up due to killing massive groups. And when this Mortal Call goes off, you're going to have 3 endurance charges up instead of, the normal Enduring Cry amount, which, sometimes is 1. But it's going to just make you more immortal, the Daressos in this combo. The Alberons we choose because I know it seems weird. It's a weird, unique, and that's why it's so cheap. It's because it's not used a lot. We don't take it for we take it for 1 mod, to be honest, and that's the 18% increased strength, because we get so much from strength due to Pillar, and also we get life from strength and different things like that. But the added cast damage, the armor, the cast resistance, and the movement speed is just a bonus. And the maximum number of skeletons, you really don't use it. So you can, unless you're going to put cast on melee kill with skeletons or something. The Abyssus is used because it's the perfect helmet for this build. You can't beat it because it adds 40 to 60 physical damage. That is massive for Pillar. It literally adds thousands of DPS to you. I know it wouldn't seem like it does, but it does. And then 21 to all attributes, which just, Pillar just loves attribute. If you get attributes, Pillar, it works perfectly with Pillar. The melee critical strike is great for you if you're not taking the Resolute technique that makes you never crit but never miss. If you take the accuracy nodes, which you can with this build really easily, I did, you can of course get extra crits, so that's just a bonus. The armor is huge, big bonus, because we get a lot of armor with this to survive going in those hordes that we go and jump into like a crazy person. And then 50% increased physical damage taken. It is not so bad. There's a person online that did the math for it, and you can go look that up. And they did the math and showed that the 50% increased physical damage taken isn't as bad as everyone thinks it is. And trust me, it might seem like, oh, I might die more. You do not die as much as you think on this build. I've done lots on it, and I don't feel that. And partly the reason is because you get a lot of armor. So you get all these things for that reason. The gear. This gear is extremely cheap. Like I said, like 18 chaos for all these, is what you pay. To 4 link them and stuff like that costs a little extra, but you can do that as time goes by. You don't have to rush into these things. Now let's talk about the gems we're going to be socketing in. Since we're only going to be using a 4-socket pillar, which is cheap to get, I'm going to explain what it is for a 4-socket, because I just got this 5-socket yesterday. I used a 4-socket 4-linked pillar all the way to 76. So, and I did massive DPS with it then, and not like massive, but 12k DPS on leap slams, which is pretty nice. So let's talk about the gems you need. One important is, of course, your leap slam or your ground slam. The leap slam that I use, the gems I use with leap slam is faster attacks, melee physical damage, multi-strike, and concentrated effect. Now, melee physical damage and concentrated effect can be interchangeable for your 4th socket. They both do great damage. They increase your damage by a lot because of the more melee physical damage and the more area damage. However, concentrated effect has the downside of making your radius smaller. So if you want to keep your radius up but lose a little bit of DPS, then use melee physical damage. Whichever one is cheaper at the time is fine. You're gonna be able to use both of them and go through the all the acts like butter, like hot knife through butter. So those are the gems you're going to be using for Leap Slam. And if you have all 5 in there for your Leap Slam, let's see, you're going to be doing 12,000 DPS here. Let me go to my my hideout so I can show you the true DPS with your auras up. And I'll show you those auras in a second. With the 5 link, you're going to be doing 18,000 DPS on your Leap Slams. Now, with Concentrated Effect out, you do 11,000. Or with melee physical damage out, you do 12,700. So you can see, even with only a 4 socket, 4 link, you're going to be doing fantastic DPS. You're going to eat through levels. And the videos you've actually seen me doing of working through Dominus and Piety, Lunaris, and Scepter of God actually was with the 12,000 DPS. So that's what we use on those. For your heavy strike, it's pretty much very similar. Melee physical damage, faster attacks, and multi-strike. Now this is your boss killer, so you know it's important that you get these and these second. Leap Slam stuff first, heavy strike stuff second, and up until you get enough currency, you can switch out the multi-strike and faster attacks and stuff back and forth. When you get to a boss, just switch the melee physical damage, the faster attacks, and the multi-strike over to your heavy strike, and you can use those. So you can see if you get heavy strike instead of concentrated effect, you just switch them back and forth. Saves on currency if you don't have it to spend. For your auras, you're going to get a reduced mana, Herald of Ash, Hatred, and your, I don't run 3 auras, so your 4th slot is, Blood Rage or whatever. Your Blood Rage or your Curse, it should be. Your Curse of choice. And you will need a 4-socket, 3-linked item, which is going to be your Enduring Cry, Immortal Call, cast when damage taken. And then the 4th socket that isn't linked, and that will be your Warlord's Mark or whatever curse you choose, or Blood Rage, interchangeably, And then your final 4-link item will be your Val Ground Slam, Increased Area of Effect, Multi-Strike, and Faster Attacks. Now, I know Val Ground Slam seems worthless. A lot of people say it's terrible, it's worthless, vendor trash, and stuff like that. But I will show you later, and if you've watched the other videos, it's not. It's very useful, very powerful, and it gets you out of things that would normally kill others. But you'll see that in a second. Hold on, I'm taking a drink. So those are the gems you'll need. Now the gems cost a bit. What I actually paid for faster attacks was you can get faster attacks for an alchemy orb. You can get your melee physical damage for an alchemy orb. Leap Slam, you actually get most of these melee physical damage, faster attacks, and Leap Slam from your quest rewards, so you don't actually have to spend on them, and you get them pretty early. You get all these in Cruel and Normal, and Multi-Strike. Actually, I only paid 3 Chaos for, but you can sometimes get it for 2, and by the time you reach Multi-Strike, you're going to be able to more than afford it if you keep doing the chromatic vendor hopping. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Every level past, like, I think it was 13 or 14, the vendors have a chance of having a 3-linked item that is red, green, and blue. Now it has to be linked, and it has to be those 3 colors. If you've seen my vendor recipe video, I have it shows you. You can buy those for an Orb of Transmutation or a Wisdom Scroll, and then resell them for a chromatic. Now 10 to 15 chromatic goes for a chaos. So you can see how quick you can round those up. Because the more acts you get into, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, the more vendors you have to search for those chromatics. So it adds quite a bit of currency to you. And it's how I afford a lot of my stuff. Early game. In fact, it will fund your entire suit here quite easily if you look for vendor hopping. Because after you reach Merciless difficulty, Act 3 Cruel, you can start finding 6-socket items that sell for 7 jewelers, which is very close to being a chaos just for vendor hopping. So you can fund all this with that, and it's quite easy. And then the rest of the gems, most of these you're going to get off of your quest rewards. Your Hatred, your Herald of Ash, your reduced mana, Blood Rage, you get all those. You You get an Enduring Cry, you get Immortal Call, cast when damage taken, you can get as a final, or you can pay like 2 chaos for it, 2 to 3 chaos. But you don't need this combo until like level 60s. Warlord's Mark, you get the you don't get Val Ground Slam, sadly, but people give it away because they think it's worthless. It might not be worthless if this video gets popular, or the build gets popular, or the move gets popular, but it's pretty cheap. You could probably get it for an alchemy, even if it went up in price, because it's worth nothing now. Increased Area of Effect you can get from a quest reward, if I remember correctly. If not, it's alchemy to a chaos. Faster attacks, of course, you get, and multi-strike, then you can buy another multi-strike. It's pretty simple, less than an exalt to make. Actually, with all that stuff, it's less than 30 chaos. You're not going to have any trouble getting these, getting all these items and having a bunch of fun with the build. Now let me show you the passive list real quick before I take you out and show you what the build does. The passive list is all over the place, and for a reason. Now, when you first start out, if you start as a duelist, you can actually start in multiple different places for this, and just trail in, and then trail into the passive list that I've created here, and then just trail to the others. You can start it all over the place. When I first start out as a duelist, I take physical attack damage as life, because it gives me 14 life and physical damage, and then I just start going down the attack speed line here. And I go to Art of the Gladiator, and I go across. You get more life from these, and you get Master Arena, and then you go up here for mana flows and stuff, because you're going to get a lot of mana to spam your ground slam as you level. And since if you get those Palwa rings at level 1 or so, and you get to like level 10 or so, and you have this, you're going to be ground slamming all over the place. It's going to be crazy. And I come down here, grab these, and you can go, at this point, you can go either direction. You can go down here for more life and more attack speed and damage. And you can come over here for more resist, more dex, and you can get iron reflexes. Converts all evasion rating to armor. Dexterity provides no bonus to evasion rating. And you can come up here and go to your accuracy nodes whenever you need them. And then you can see it goes over here all the way to finesse. The reason you go here is the accuracy nodes adds resist, dex, and accuracy, of course. And then these add movement speed, attack speed, and then this is a big one with adds 20% accuracy, increased attack speed, and dex. Then you can come over here, and I head up to Born to Fight, because it opens up to where you can go up here for butchery, and you can go over here for an extra attack speed or all these physical damage nodes. And basically you get these big life nodes and your accuracy nodes. You get your resist, that sort of thing. I come down here and I always try to get to these 30 attribute bonuses, these big attribute nodes. And you can come over here and get Berserk, come up here even further, go along, get Sentinel, because it adds nice evasion and armor, which you get a lot on this, and it adds resistance. Then you circle around for life, go over here, you get your big nodes, you go back up here, and you get your accuracy, your life, your retribution, which is actually a pretty nice node, and you get your increased AoE. Now, you can drop this increased AoE if you don't mind having a smaller AoE on your leap slam, but I get it just for fun. That's the whole point, is that this passive list takes you by. The reason I made it the way I did, I actually had to respec this and spend a lot of currency, is because bite down here also gives you resistant armor evasion rating, is because it opens up so many options for you. You can get more attack speed off of a ton of different locations. Up here you can go to this Primal Spirit, and then you go up here and get tons of attack speed all the way to an 8 node. You get more life here if you want to go more life. You can come down here, and if you're running Glacial Hammer, or even so, though you're running Hatred, you can get the more cold damage nodes. Not too far from here you can swing by if you wanted to really get Might Over Matter. You don't need to. It's not right off the path. Right off the path is another Frenzy Charge, another Endurance Charge, more damage, tons of more damage right there. Knockback, if you're going to run Ground Slam, this is very great to have. 18% knockback. Increased accuracy and critical chance if you're going more critical build. Vow Pact is open to you. More resist nodes are open to you right off the path. Of course, more armor and life over here is open to you. Big nodes to armor and damage. If you come up here, you'll notice another big damage with different bonuses to your melee node. Reduced mana cost skills. If you're going to be running Dominating Blow, you can use these to increase your duration effects to a ton if you're going to be running that, which is very viable on this build. If you come over here, you get more mana, you get more armor, and so it just opens up, like, even down here to more elemental build stuff. And it just, the path to the elemental build is more life and more elemental build. So you can see all this play. That's why I call it Morphous, because it opens up to so many options that you can use with this build. You can go tons of different passive nodes, and like I said, this build you can use Leaf Slam, you can use Ground Slam, you can use Sweep. That's a cleave. Let's look for a sweep real quick. There's Sweep. Here's Dominating Blow. I won't test Dominating Blow right now. And if you guys want me to, just tell me to test it in another video, because we got a few others we're going to be testing. One second. We got Molten Strike, Lightning Strike, and the video is already going on quite a bit of while. So let's go to a place to test this. I want it to be open for us. So a famous place is, everyone's been to the docks in Merciless. So we'll go to the docks in Merciless, and I will show you some of these. Now, if you've watched some of the other videos, I've done Scepter of God, Lunaris, and this was before I had a 5-socket Leaf Slam, and I was doing the 12k DPS in those, and I just ate through everything. So let's see. Let's replace, we'll do Leaf Slam first, and then we'll show you the other skills that can be done with it. Let's turn on Heavy Strike, because you'll want to see that. There. Have your Blood Rage on. Heavy Strike, you can see, it hits extremely fast. Like you destroy it. Leaf Slam. The thing with Leaf Slam is you don't have to target on them. You just target anywhere around them, and it's going to do auto targeting for you. That's why the desync doesn't. Everyone says, "Wow, you must desync a ton," and you do. You do desync. /OOS is pretty important, but you're going to just target near them, and see, it's going to target for you. You just target in the vicinity. So that's why desync doesn't bother you, because it's not you aiming. You're not aiming with your lag, your desync. The system is aiming at where it believes they are. So you can thank the system, it does the work for you. You can see there what Leaf Slam does. Now we'll switch to Ground Slam. Now with Ground Slam, I like using increased area of effect, or I take concentrate effect out and I use melee physical damage, because I like having a pretty big Ground Slam. So let's do it. You're going to see it's going to be hard for them to pass that Ground Slam line up here, especially if we had that knockback skill. It would be extremely hard for them to get to you. You can see there it stuns and it keeps back. And it eats through everything as well. It does a very good DPS, and it just stomps. So you can see this Ground Slam is very useful with this build. Very easy to switch into this build, and you can run it instead of Leap Slam just as easy. And Sweep, of course, is actually an option with this build. Now, by the way, we'll just run a 4-link here with Sweep. Now, they won't get past it, by the way. It's very hard for anything to get past it, the Sweep on this, because it's so fast. Now you can use a normal Leap Slam to get around and jump in between anything, and we're lagging a little bit, by the way, and jump in between anything, and then use it, and it just destroys. It literally is nasty, and it's hard for you to die with it, because anything that tries to get near you is pushed back due to the Sweep. You can see there, it's pushing things back, and they just stop. They stop and they go, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. So you can see here, and also Cyclone is an option with this. I don't know if I have a Cyclone or not. I can see if I can go get one for you, because I know it's a very popular skill, so I should be doing that. And that's why, you know, that's another reason to call it morph, not just the passive nodes, but like I said, you can switch in and out of different skills, and you at any time level these skills, and then at any time you can use them again. And you're like, today I feel like using Cyclone, so let's see if we can find a Cyclone. I do not know what it even looks like. I forget. I don't know that I got it or not. I know I have Val Cyclone. I found that one time. If not, you know, it's pretty simple. You can understand that it would work with it. There it is. Since we do not have one with faster attacks, we'll take the faster attacks out. You would have to switch your gem slots up. Let's go in there with Cyclone. We're not going to be as fast, but it should be fine. It's got multi-strike on it, and you're gonna see, you'd have to build the proper gems for it, since I don't use it, but you're gonna eat through everything. Your massive life leech is gonna keep you up. Your armor is great for getting into the fray, and since staffs actually get the longest range of any cyclone, any weapon with Cyclone, you're going to have a huge range, not only for that, but also because you come down here to Master of the Arena and get a +2 weapon and unarmed range. So that is a massive bonus to Cyclone if you wanted to use Cyclone with it. Now, as for your Heavy Strike, there's a lot of options that go into the single target skill as well. Like I told you, you can even use the Dominating Blow if you put Mana Leech on it, because it takes a lot of mana, or you, like I said, you get a lot of reduced mana, you know, passive nodes right near yours. So let's go back to the docks, new, and let's test out these single targets. And I will. You've already seen the Heavy Strike, so this is a level 1 Molten Strike. Now, it's going to do 20,000 DPS at level 1. So let's just take it out and see what it does. It hits fast. You basically create a wall of molten lava. Now let's switch to, since we got this big horde coming, Lightning Strike. Now someone gave me this, and it's actually just a laser beam. You can see it's a steady beam, and it's really good DPS. This is actually a little leveled, but you can see 24,870 DPS. And you can use that as your main hand, you know, your solo skill as well. So you can see how it can be interchangeable any day you want to switch up builds, and you're not having fun with another. It's there for you to do. This is Val Ground Slam. I'll show you it, and it's great for these strong boxes because they can get you in trouble if you don't have Decoy Totem. I usually lay a Decoy Totem, but with Val Ground Slam, only thing you gotta watch out for is physical damage reflect. So let's show you. You see that? Now watch. He's over there. Pushes him off the screen. It's your save button. It gets you out of trouble. Whenever you're in trouble, hit Val Ground Slam. Like it says in the tooltip, 100% increased knockback distance, 150 base damage, knocks enemies back on hit, stuns enemies, can't be evaded. So 100% chance that it's going to save your butt. That's why I use it. One thing that you should know about Leech Slam is if you're playing this Leech Slam build. Let's get some kills up. You can see there that it goes all over the place. But when you go through doors, like in Scepter of God and stuff like that, I showed you in the Scepter of God video, when you go through doors, don't walk through the door. It's dangerous to walk through a door in any sense because you can get damaged, you know, pretty badly. The good thing about this Leech Slam is when you see the door and someone opens it or you open it, Leech Slam in. Leech Slam is going to start targeting your enemies and taking them down immediately and shooting you all over the screen. And even the leapers that come at you, those frogs that and leap at you, they can't hit you. Roas can't hit you. I don't believe like once in a blue moon you will get hit like that. You don't get frozen as much because things just can't get to you. You're leaping so dang fast. You're all over the place like you saw over there. That's why I wanted to do that and find that horde, because you chain into it. It's really crazy. So that you get to see what this build is all about. It's totally up to your choice what you feel like that day of using. But I just prefer Leech Slam because it's so so fun. We'll go to Scepter of God real quick, and I will try to show you what I mean by going through a door and not getting eaten by the frogs. The whole thing of this build was I actually worked on it the last league, and I didn't get it out because my computer died for 45 days. I finally bought a new computer, and that's why I started. As soon as Torment went, I started working on this. Let's go through the door. See me slam through the door immediately? We'll pick those up in a second. I want to show you something. See these people waiting on the other side of the door? They're waiting for you, and they're going to give you some trouble. And there's Onslaught, you can see. Now watch this. We got OS. Let's get it right. Okay. As soon as you open it, jump in. You're going to tear them up. They're not going to be able to be ready for you. You're going to be stomping and knocking them back and stuff and stunning them. It's very much the way to play that. That's one of the pieces of advice I could give you playing this build. You've seen me take bosses with it if you've watched my other videos. So if you would like to know more about boss fighting, just go to those. I did Piety Leech Slammed her to death when I was only doing 10k Leech Slams. So I think it was. And I killed Dominus with it solo so many times it's crazy. I do him all the time. I love doing Dominus runs. And as you can see with this, Scepter God gives you no trouble. You can go straight to the top and do Dominus runs with people all day long. You can be a runner. I know a lot of people look for runners, and this is a perfect build for it. So that's pretty much all there is to the build. The passive list, the gear list, the gem list, and everything will be in the info below. And I, of course, will keep releasing videos on this, map runs, and all kinds of different runs that I do. And just keep going with it. Remember, Ground Slam is your, it seems like a bad skill, but a lot of skills seem bad before you use them. I know you could switch Val Ground Slam with any Val gem, like Val Skeletons or Val Haste. I know they're popular, but Val Ground Slam is my favorite because it's massive and it's awesome. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this build helps you out a lot. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. And hope you get a lot of fun out of it. As much fun as I am. It's extremely fun to use. It is hilarious. And it gets a lot of good reactions. People think it's funny. So you'll get a good smile out of that as well. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to it, so I wanted to get it out now rather than later. By the way, I should mention that you get a good amount of life, good defense, and that's pretty much it. Don't know what else to say other than make the build. It's cheap, get it now, because if this somehow, I'm not saying it's going to be famous, but if it gets famous or something, like this stuff will rise in price because people will be buying them up immediately because they're so cheap. So as always, take care, be safe, and be cool to each other.